Right, obviously people might notice, even though for the Danish teams I asked immediately about the IGLs, I saved Aleksib until now because I actually think with the timing of when this interview will come out, obviously in theory his stock is at its lowest, unfortunately, because he's been removed from G2, and obviously people think it's because, like, whether it's true or not, they think it's because the people like Nico and the rest of them just don't think he's good enough or he doesn't fit their style or whatever. What I want to ask is this. He's actually in IGL where I have the unique position, as I've mentioned many times. I actually twice got to listen to your guys' comms because I heard you at Blast because we had the Blast comms. So that was at the beginning of the team. And then I heard you in the Flashpoint period because we obviously had the comms there too. So unlike a lot of other players, I'm not speculative. I've actually I've heard these guy call games. And listen, obviously I have my own opinion. I think he's fucking legit as fuck, mate. Like, as I told people, I think I did a tweet like this at Flashpoint too. I just said, like, Aleksib is the truth. Like, when I listened to his comms, he seemed like he really had like he's one of those IGLs that looks like he has the wall hack and just knows what the other team's doing, and that's like the patterns in his mind. Like, give me your thoughts on when you played with him. What's IGL? What is Aleksib like as an IGL?
I think it's pretty true what you said. Like, he has a really good mind for the game. You know, when he's in his zone, he's really good at reading the opponents. He's really good at deciding what strats is the best for this specific round. But I always feel like one thing that's a little bit overblown is the micromanagement aspect. Obviously, I do agree. Like, we probably didn't have the most vocal team back then. You know, we had like Isa on the team who didn't maybe say too much. Mantu maybe didn't say too much. So obviously, like, if we have a 3-on-3 situation where Aleksib is dead, for example, and he's like spectating, if nobody is saying anything, then obviously, like, he feels like the round is probably going to be lost if he doesn't like interfere and jump in and starts like micromanaging. But I don't think it's because he wants to micromanage as an in-game leader, you know? Like, let's say he had 4 players, like 3-4 players who could actually talk a lot of on their own. I don't think he would do this micromanagement style. So I really think it depends on the players he has. And I think because people heard that 1 or 2 rounds where he actually did the micromanaging, then people made it up as though he's like only doing micromanaging. And, you know,
they made it sound like that's his style and he wants to do that. Yeah, whereas I always got the vibe as well. He's doing that because it's Issa. He's not going to say that to Nico. There's no way he's telling Nico that.
Yeah, and he didn't say that to me because you know, he knew I was always going to talk about like what I'm seeing on the map. You know, I'm going to do my part. So I feel like he only does it if he sees a player that's not communicating by himself, or he feels like he needs to interfere to have a better chance of winning the round. And I think that's totally legit, you know, like I'd probably do that as well if I was the in-game leader. I think Kerrigan would do that as well, you know, if he didn't have players who's talking. Of course, you're gonna like try and make up a plan in the round or the clutch, right? So I think that was always like super overblown, and I actually think it made like, I think it hurt his reputation a little bit, maybe, that people think he's like one-sided in this aspect, that he's not able to call a little bit more freely. But, you know, in terms of what went wrong in G2, I actually have no idea. I think it's so hard to say from the outside when you didn't hear the comms and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes of a team. I think it's super tough to know exactly what went wrong. Like, it's so hard to calculate, like, how much of it is Aleksib's fault, how much is like the management, like his teammates. It's so hard. It's probably like a mix of everything. You know, I never think it's like only one person's fault if a team is not doing well, right?
Sure.
But yeah, I did enjoy playing with him. I think he's a super smart guy, has a really good mind for the game, as you said before. You know, at times when he was in the zone and he was like confident in his own calling, it did feel like he had wall hack at times. You know, he could make the perfect decision in a round where it just really feels good when you win those type of rounds, right? But yeah, in terms of what went wrong in G2, it's hard for me to.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.